Yeah, okay, so um there's one more thing I wanted to say to you, or a couple things I wanted to say. Well, for one, I address in my videos the three groups of people that I wrote this little book called Reaching Out. Not that I'm trying to sell my book, it's not a big money making venture, but I wrote it. It's called Reaching Out, and I'm addressing these three people groups, these three groups of people, because I think that you're like you and Arabs and black people in America are probably the three. Well, for people in the West, you're like the three most important groups of people. That there's so many things that are really pivotal in our world that rest upon those three groups of people. So that's why I address them. But to you, I wanted to say that I believe that Christians have needed from time immemorial, from the very beginning of the Christian faith, have needed a relationship with the Jews that would help to illumine Scripture, that would help to understand future events, to mollify fear, to erase confusion. Because, you know what Christians think about end times and the things that they're expecting, all the things that I'm sure you're aware of them. And I think about you, and the only thing you're waiting for is the Messiah to come. You're not waiting for all this other stuff to happen. And so, like, if Christians were to ask you, do you believe there's going to be a tribulation? You'd be like, you know, hey, you know, we've been in a tribulation for so long, and it's just so many things that Christians think are just such fear-oriented expectations of the future. And, you know, my understanding of your God is that He has shown me that so much of that is really wrong. So, and I just think that I would come by that understanding. And even I've heard excerpts from the Kabbalah that were just like totally applicable to some situations in my life, and I realized how the Kabbalah was written to help explain scriptures more in detail and to bring more understanding of them. And like what I had heard had really helped me to understand some things. So I just think that we needed a relationship with you that we haven't had. And I think that I talked in the last two videos, or the last video, about witchcraft in the West. And our great adversary and enemy is Satan. But these people, they belong to him and they really love him. They're just crazy about him, and they really want to be him. And the revelation I've had is they are his hands and his feet. He, like God, God, your God and our God, really doesn't do a lot of things in this world except through his people who are serving him and want to serve his purposes. Like what happened with Jonah. It was like God kind of depended on Jonah for what happened to Nineveh. And in the same way, these people, the devil depends on them. So my point is that I think that they've done a lot to prevent Jews and Christians from having that relationship. Being his hands and his feet. They have done so many things. They have tried to discredit Christianity by being weird, fake Christians, etc., etc. So I think that this is what has been going on since the beginning of Christianity. And I'm just saying, I want to hear your side of things.